Hello, Pasadena ISD students. Welcome to today's mini lesson. Today we're going to work with SLO Reading D Learning Target 2. The strategy that we're going to use is annotation, and that simply means that we're going to use the information that we're given in the article, and we're going to note our ideas on the side, proving it with specific text evidence. That is to say, I'm going to record my inferences here, and then I'm going to connect it to one or more pieces of evidence from the text to support my thinking. This will be me proving that my inferences are logical and relevant based on the evidence. We're all set. Let's get started with the article. Decades later and far away, Chernobyl disaster still contaminates milk, by Richard Perez Pena, June 8, 2018. So that you're familiar with the ideas that I write, now you'll want to pause the video so that you're able to read paragraphs 1 through 4. And when you press play again, I will begin annotating paragraph 1. Now that you've had the opportunity to read, I will proceed with my annotations. My first thought comes from paragraph 1. And it essentially relates to the fact that nuclear disasters are long-lasting. The evidence that I use to support my thinking relates to the fact that more than 3 decades later, milk still has dangerous levels of radiation, and then the problem could also persist for decades to come. So I'm going to write my annotation, and then I'm going to underline the evidence that proves my thought that comes from the text. So I've written my annotation that nuclear disasters have long-lasting consequences, and then I underline the relevant evidence. My annotation stemming from paragraph 2 relates to the fact that nuclear disaster is widespread. The evidence that supports that thought is as much as 140 miles from the Chernobyl nuclear plant. The milk is up to 5 times the official limit for adults and 12 times that for children. So essentially, it's not just that the impact is long-lasting, it's also far-reaching. I'll go ahead and write my annotation here and then underline the relevant evidence. I recorded my thought that nuclear disasters are widespread, and then I underlined the relevant evidence. Looking at paragraph 3, I've determined that for the sake of children and adults in the Ukraine, action needs to be taken. The evidence that I use to support that thought comes from the fact that the radiation levels will remain above what is actually healthy until at least 2040 for adults and even longer for children. So I'm going to write my annotation here and again underline the relevant evidence. I've recorded my response for paragraph 3. Based on paragraph 4, I determined that some of the milk may be safer to drink, as it says in the text that when the researcher examined milk samples from the area, there were variations in radiation levels. So even though the milk is still tainted, it might be worth the researcher's time to record where radiation levels are lowest so that the people could drink milk from that area while they wait for cleanup. I'll record my annotation, and you're more than welcome to use the remainder of the article, paragraphs 5 through 12, to continue practicing annotations and identifying evidence. Additionally, you'll have a fresh new article to work with to practice annotating and identifying supporting evidence. Now you're ready to annotate and identify the evidence that helps you to prove your thinking. You're more than prepared. Knock it out the park. Good luck.